The night sky over Colony 12 was quiet. Too quiet. The stars usually shimmered like scattered diamonds above the desert plain, but tonight they flickered, like something huge was blocking their light. Eli Grant sat on the porch of his small farmhouse, a half-empty mug of coffee in his hand. The air was still. The windmill had stopped turning. Even the night insects were silent. He frowned, staring at the horizon. A faint glow shimmered far away, not like lightning, not like fire. It pulsed, slow and rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then he heard it, a sound deep and low like thunder under the ground. His old hound, Max, began to growl. Eli stood up. "Easy, boy," he whispered. The ground trembled. The glow grew brighter, and then with a sudden flash of white-blue light, a craft descended from the sky, silent, sleek, and shaped like a tear of silver glass. It landed in the open field behind his barn, crushing the dry grass beneath it. No sound came after, no smoke, no fire, just silence again. Eli's heart raced. His hands shook. "What in the world?" he muttered. He grabbed his old flashlight and ran toward the light. Each step felt heavier, like the air itself was pressing on him. When he reached the edge of the field, the ship's surface shimmered like water, though it was solid. Then a door opened. A thin mist drifted out, glowing faintly. From the mist stepped a figure, tall, graceful, eyes like molten silver, skin with a soft, pale glow under the moonlight. She looked almost human, but not quite. Eli froze. His flashlight slipped from his hand and fell into the grass. The woman looked at him calmly. "Eli Grant," she said. Her voice was soft, musical, like a whisper carried by wind. Eli's mouth went dry. Who are you?" She smiled faintly. "My name is Lyra. I have come from the planet Arian. I am your chosen match." "Your bride?" Eli blinked, lost for words. The wind picked up, carrying dust around them. "My what?" Lyra stepped closer, holding out a small, glowing device. It projected a floating image, an official-looking record from an interstellar program. Human-Alien Partnership Project. Approved match. Eli Grant. Colony 12, Earth. His face was right there, clear as day. But the date? The request had been made 5 years ago, back when Eli was alone, before Sarah, before the kids had come into his life. Eli's stomach turned. "That's not possible," he said. "That program, I canceled that. Years ago." Lyra's eyes glowed softly. "You canceled, yes, but your signal was never erased. It reached me. Across the void, across time." She took another step forward. "I followed your loneliness." Behind them, a voice shouted, "Eli! What's going on out there?" Sarah came running with a lantern in her hand, wearing her nightgown. The children, Luke and little Maya, peeked from the doorway, frightened. Sarah stopped dead when she saw Lyra. "Eli," she whispered. "Who is she?" Eli opened his mouth, but no words came out. Lyra turned her silver eyes toward Sarah and the kids. "I am Lyra of Arian. I was chosen to be his partner. Before your union." Sarah's face turned pale. "Before? Eli, what have you done?" "I didn't do anything," Eli said quickly. This is some kind of mistake." Lyra tilted her head, almost curious. "A mistake?" she said softly. "Then why do your children call for help in their dreams?" Everyone froze. "How do you know about that?" Eli asked sharply. Lyra's gaze moved toward Maya, the little girl clutching a stuffed toy at the door. "She dreams of shadows, the black wind, the sound of stars crying. She called to me, and I came." The lantern in Sarah's hand flickered. The air around them hummed, a deep vibration that made their bones ache. Suddenly, the ship's surface rippled again. Strange symbols appeared across its side, glowing red. Lyra looked up sharply. "No," she whispered. "They found me." Eli stepped back. "Who?" "The ones I escaped from," Lyra said, her calm voice breaking for the first time. "I thought I was safe here, but they followed my trail." The wind roared. The stars flickered again. A strange shape moved high in the clouds and dark and massive, watching. Sarah grabbed the children. "Eli, we need to go inside." But Lyra raised a hand. "No, if they see movement, they'll strike." Her glowing skin brightened, forming a shield of light around the farmhouse. "Stay close to me," she said. Maya stared up at her, eyes wide. "Are you an angel?" Lyra smiled sadly. "No, little one. Just someone who wanted to love a human." The shield shimmered as a low hum echoed from the sky. The shape in the clouds began to fade away as if retreating. For now. Lyra lowered her hand, her light dimming. She looked at Eli, her voice quiet but full of weight. They will come again. They always do. Eli's heart pounded. He didn't know whether to fear her or protect her. In that moment, the air was thick with silence again, the kind that hides danger beneath it. The kids clung to Sarah. Lyra stood alone in the moonlight, her eyes reflecting the stars. Eli took one step closer. "Why did you really come here, Lyra?" he asked. She looked up at the night sky. "Because, Eli Grant," she said softly, "the stars are dying, and you are the last hope my world believes in." The wind blew again, carrying her words through the quiet night. And in the distance, the faint hum of engines echoed from above the clouds. Something was still coming. Morning came, but the fear of last night did not fade. The sun rose over Colony 12, warm and golden, yet Eli Grant's farmhouse felt colder than ever. The silence at breakfast was heavy. Even the coffee tasted like metal. Sarah moved around the kitchen with tight lips, her eyes avoiding Eli. The children sat quietly, Luke staring at his plate, and little Maya holding her spoon without eating, and Lyra, she stood by the window, watching the sunrise as if she had never seen one before. The light painted her silver skin with shades of gold and pink. Her eyes, bright like mirrors, followed every bird that flew across the field. Finally, Sarah spoke, her voice sharp. "She's not staying here, Eli." Eli rubbed his face. "Sarah," "No," she interrupted. "You saw what happened last night. You saw those lights in the sky. You saw how she brought them here." Lyra turned slowly, her expression calm but tired. "They were already coming. My arrival only revealed their path." Sarah glared at her. "You think that makes it better?" Lyra looked at the children. "It makes it necessary." Maya's voice broke the silence.
"Mama Lyra saved me." Everyone turned to her. Sarah frowned.
"Maya, what are you talking about?" Maya looked down, twisting her fingers. "Last night, when the light came, I was outside. I saw something in the air. It tried to touch me, but Mama Lyra's light stopped it." Sarah's heart dropped. "You were outside?" "I told you." Lyra knelt beside the little girl. "It wasn't her fault. The energy field was hunting warm minds. It would have taken her." Eli's head snapped up. "Taken her where?" Lyra hesitated. "To the void between worlds, where voices whisper but no one hears. It's what my people call the hollow. The mercenaries use it to erase memories and destroy hope." Sarah's breath caught. "What kind of monsters do that?" Lyra looked out the window again. "The kind who believe fear is stronger than love." The words hung heavy in the air. Outside, the sky was clear, but a faint pulse shimmered on the horizon, a strange ripple in the air, like heat over desert sand. That afternoon, the colony's power grid started to flicker. First the lights dimmed, then the comms went down. The small solar tower behind the barn hummed and died. Eli checked his tools, shaking his head. "Everything's offline, even the backup cells." Lyra walked past him, calm and certain. "Only my ship still functions. My core power is separate from Earth's network." Sarah crossed her arms. "Oh, how convenient." Lyra ignored the sarcasm. "You will need that power soon." Eli stared at her. "Why, what's coming?" Lyra's silver eyes met his. "A signal. They are scanning for me, for this house. I can feel it." Suddenly, the children screamed from the porch. Everyone rushed outside. The sky above shimmered with a strange blue grid, thin lines like spider webs stretching from horizon to horizon. "It's starting," Lyra whispered. They found the coordinates. Eli felt the air pressure change. A loud ringing filled his ears. He dropped to one knee. Lyra moved fast, faster than human eyes could follow. She pressed her palms together and a wave of light burst outward, shielding the house again. The ringing stopped, the grid vanished. Silence returned. Eli gasped for breath. What did you do?" Lyra's voice was faint. "I burned their trace pattern, but I can't do it again. It weakens me." Maya ran to her, hugging her knees. "Don't die, Mama Lyra." Lyra smiled weakly, brushing the girl's hair. "I won't, little one. Not until the stars stop singing." Sarah watched them with mixed feelings. Fear, jealousy, confusion. There was something human about Lyra's care. Too human. That night, as everyone slept, Sarah sat awake by the window. Outside, Lyra stood under the stars, glowing softly. Eli joined Sarah quietly. You're still up. How can I sleep, she whispered, when there's an alien outside who calls herself your bride? Eli sighed. It's not like that. You saw her file. It was from years ago. Sarah turned to him, eyes filled with doubt. Maybe, but the way she looks at you. Eli looked out the window. She saved Maya. I can't just send her away. Sarah's voice broke. And what about us, Eli? What if she's the reason we lose everything? Before Eli could answer, a faint blue glow lit the walls. Lyra's reflection shimmered on the glass. She was watching the stars with a look of pain. She's listening, Sarah whispered. No, Eli said softly. She's remembering. In the middle of the night, Eli rushed in. What's happening? Lyra's face was pale. The storm is near. The energy waves are breaking through. Your children have sensitive minds. I'm protecting them. Eli saw faint shadows and moving like smoke crawling across the ceiling. He couldn't breathe for a second. Then Lyra spoke a single word in her language, melodic and sharp, and the shadows vanished. The room fell silent again. Lyra collapsed, breathing hard. Eli caught her before she fell. Her voice was weak. They're coming faster than I thought. We have 1 cycle left before they arrive. 1 cycle? Sarah asked, terrified. You mean 1 day? Lyra nodded slowly. Yes, 1 Earth day, before the stars fall on this house. She looked at the children, sleeping peacefully again, and then at Eli. When they come, I will need your help or none of us will survive. Outside, thunder rolled across a clear sky, the sound of ships moving through the upper atmosphere. Lyra's eyes glowed once more. The war has found Earth, she whispered, and it began with me. The morning sky looked calm again, but everyone in Eli's farmhouse knew better. Peace had become a fragile lie, a thin layer hiding the truth that something terrible was coming from the stars. Eli didn't sleep that night. He sat by the window watching the horizon glow faintly red before dawn. The fields looked normal, but the air still buzzed like electricity. Lyra had said they had 1 day left. He looked over at her. She sat quietly near the fireplace, her eyes closed, glowing faintly under her skin. She wasn't resting. She was listening. Finally, Eli spoke. You said they're coming for you. Who are they? Lyra opened her eyes. The firelight reflected in her silver pupils. They call themselves the Kareth Dominion. Once they were my people's protectors. Now they are hunters. Hunting what? Freedom, she said softly. They believe love is weakness. They burn any world that shelters emotion. My kind, we felt too much. We began to love, to dream. That made us dangerous. Sarah, standing near the stairs, clenched her hands. So you brought them to our world. Lyra turned her gaze to her. I brought them here because Earth still believes in love. That's something they can't destroy. Not easily. Maya came down the stairs, rubbing her eyes. Mama Lyra. Did you hear the song again? Eli frowned. Song? Lyra smiled faintly. The children hear them too. The Kareth move through sound. Frequencies too deep for machines, but not for the heart. It begins as a song. Eli's chest tightened. He remembered hearing faint humming last night, like a sad lullaby echoing through metal. Lyra stood, walking toward the window. Look, she whispered. Far in the sky, 3 bright lines moved silently through the clouds, not meteors, not planes. They glided with unnatural grace, leaving trails of light behind them. Sarah gasped. Oh my God. Lyra's voice was calm. Scouts. They are searching for me. Eli's instincts screamed to run, but his heart said otherwise. What can we do? Lyra touched the window. Her hand left glowing marks that faded slowly. You can hide, but they will still smell your fear. They hunt emotion. The stronger you feel, the louder your signal becomes, Sarah whispered. Then they'll find us easily. Lyra nodded, sadness in her voice. Yes, humans love too loudly. By noon, the colony went into lockdown. The central AI tower sent out alerts. Unknown aerial activity detected. Civilians are advised to remain indoors. Eli helped board up the windows. Lyra sat in the corner, weaving something glowing from strands of light, a circular pattern that floated in the air. What is that? Luke asked, curious. A memory shield, Lyra said. It hides your thoughts. They can't take what they can't see. Luke reached out to touch it. The moment his finger brushed the light, it rippled and whispered. A soft, childlike giggle echoed through the room. He jumped back. It laughed. Lyra smiled softly. It remembers joy. That's what keeps it alive, Sarah stared. That's beautiful, but also terrifying. Both, Lyra said simply. That night the wind began to howl again. The lights flickered. Eli checked the solar meter. Still dead. Then came the knock. Soft, rhythmic, too calm to be human. Everyone froze. Eli looked at Lyra. She whispered, "Don't answer." The knock came again, this time louder. A smooth voice followed, distant yet clear. "Eli Grant of Colony 12. We know you are sheltering a fugitive of the Kareth Dominion. Step outside." Eli's blood ran cold. "They know my name." Lyra stood up slowly, her eyes glowing brighter. "They are reading your airwaves. Your identity is in the network." Sarah's voice trembled. "What do they want?" "Me," Lyra said simply. "And anyone who protects me." The door began to hum, energy crackling around it. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hand. "Stay back." With a flash of light, the door burst open. The wind rushed in, and standing outside was a tall figure in dark armor, its face hidden behind a smooth black mask. It spoke again, voice deep and hollow. "Lyra of Arian, you violated the decree of emotion. You will surrender." Lyra's voice was calm but fierce. "You can't silence hearts forever." The figure raised its hand, light gathered at its palm, forming a spear of plasma. Before it could strike, Maya ran forward. "No!" Eli grabbed her, pulling her back, but it was too late. The alien hesitated, lowering its weapon. It looked at the child, head tilted, almost curious. Lyra stepped between them, her glow growing stronger. "Leave them. They are innocent." The figure hesitated again. For a second, the mask flickered, revealing eyes. Human eyes. Eli froze. "Wait." "That's," Lyra finished quietly, "a hybrid. A human who joined them." The figure turned its gaze toward Eli. "You think love will save you? It only makes you weak." Lyra's voice trembled. "Then why do your eyes look like his?" The figure didn't answer. It raised its hand again, and vanished in a pulse of blue light, leaving the air burning cold. Silence. Eli dropped to his knees, shaking. Sarah held the kids close. Lyra stood still, her expression unreadable. Finally, Eli said, "That wasn't a monster. That was a man." Lyra looked at him. "Yes, the Kareth Dominion converts humans now. They twist love into control. He was once like you." Eli's heart pounded. "Then they're already here." Lyra nodded slowly. "The first has come. The others will follow." She turned toward the stars, and her silver eyes reflecting the darkness. "And when they arrive, they won't ask for surrender. They'll ask for Earth." The wind outside died again. The night was silent, too silent. But high above the clouds, more lights began to move. Cold and patient, the invasion had begun. The next day, Colony 12 was no longer peaceful. Rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers about the strange lights, about a silver-skinned woman hiding at Eli Grant's farm. People were scared. Fear made them cruel. By noon, a small group of colonists stood at the edge of Eli's field holding rifles and shouting. "We saw the ships because of her," one man yelled. "She's the reason our comms are dead," another shouted. "If she stays, they'll burn us all." Eli stepped onto the porch, his jaw tight. "Go home. You don't know what you're talking about." The man in front, a tall miner named Reddick, spat into the dirt. "We know enough. You're hiding an alien fugitive. We saw the energy last night. She's calling them." Sarah stood behind Eli, holding the children close. "She saved our kids," she shouted. Reddick glared at her. "She saved them? Or did she mark them?" The crowd murmured in fear. Lyra appeared at the doorway, calm and silent. Her silver glow reflected in their eyes like moonlight on glass. "I mean no harm," she said softly. "Your world is beautiful. I only wanted to protect it." But her voice, calm and melodic, only made them step back in fear. To them, she sounded too perfect, too alien. Reddick raised his gun. "Stay where you are." Eli stepped in front of her. "Put that down, Reddick." "She's not your enemy." The miner's eyes were cold. "Then why are the stars bleeding red every night since she came?" Lyra looked up. The horizon shimmered again, faint red lines crawling across the sky like veins. "Because they are already here," she whispered. The ground shook slightly, a low rumble that everyone felt in their bones. For a moment the crowd went silent. Then fear turned to panic. "They're coming," someone screamed. The colonists scattered, running back toward their vehicles. Only Reddick stayed, trembling, his gun still pointed at her. "If you've doomed us, I'll—" Eli shouted, "Stop." But before Reddick could finish, his comms device on his wrist flashed red, then exploded. He fell to the ground, screaming, smoke rising from his arm. Lyra rushed forward, kneeling beside him. Her hands glowed as she pressed them to his wound. The burn marks faded instantly. Reddick stared at her, eyes wide. "You healed me." Lyra met his gaze, her voice gentle. "You fear what you don't understand. But even fear can be healed." Reddick's lips trembled. He said nothing. That night, the colony's main broadcast came back online for the first time in days. Eli turned up the radio, static buzzing. Then a voice came through. The colony council leader. "Attention all settlers. The alien fugitive known as Lyra of Arian has been declared a threat to human safety. She must be surrendered immediately to prevent planetary retaliation." Sarah's face went pale. "They've turned against her." Lyra looked calm, but her eyes dimmed. "So it begins." Eli slammed his fist on the table. "They don't even know the truth." "You're not the enemy." "They don't need truth," Lyra said softly. "They only need someone to blame." Later that evening, as darkness fell, Eli and Lyra went out to the barn to check her ship. It stood silent and half buried in the dirt, its silver hull cracked but still glowing faintly. Lyra placed her hand on the metal. "They're close now. I can feel their breath in the wind." Eli looked at her. "You said they hunt love. Why are they so afraid of it?" Lyra smiled sadly. "Because love is unpredictable. You can't control someone who loves freely. The Kareth Dominion built their empire on obedience. Love breaks obedience." Eli watched her glowing face. "Then they're going to hate humans." "They already do," she whispered. A faint beep interrupted them. The ship's console flickered to life. A warning symbol pulsed, a red triangle. Lyra frowned. "Someone accessed the network." Eli looked alarmed. "Who?" She moved her hands across the controls. "Someone in the colony sent a signal to space. A beacon with my location." Eli's blood went cold. "No." Lyra turned toward him. "They betrayed us." Back at the farmhouse, Sarah stood alone by the window. The children were asleep upstairs. She held a small comm device in her shaking hands. The screen blinked. Message sent successfully. Tears filled her eyes. "I just wanted to keep them safe," she whispered. Outside, the night sky burned faint red again. Eli and Lyra came running back. "Sarah," Eli shouted. "Someone sent a signal." "Where's your comm?" Sarah looked at him, guilt and fear in her eyes. "I had to, Eli. The colony said if we didn't hand her over, they'd destroy our power grid." "The kids." Lyra raised her hand gently. "It's all right." "No, it's not," Eli shouted. "They'll be here any minute now." Lyra's eyes glowed bright, almost blinding. "Then let them come. I will end this myself." She stepped outside, her light spreading across the field. Above, the stars began to move, ships descending, hundreds of them like silent ghosts falling through the sky. Sarah grabbed Eli's arm. "What is she doing?" Eli watched in awe. "She's giving herself up." Lyra turned back to them, her voice echoing through the wind. "Protect your children. And remember this. Humanity's greatest weapon isn't fear. It's love." She looked at Maya's window one last time. The little girl was there, awake, tears on her cheeks. "Mama Lyra," Maya whispered. Lyra smiled softly. "Sleep, little star." Then she lifted her hands. A beam of light shot from the ground into the heavens, wrapping around her ship and pulling her upward. The last thing Eli saw was her glowing figure disappearing into the clouds, swallowed by the dark. And then, for the first time in human history, the stars screamed. The night the sky cracked open, the world changed forever. Colony 12 had seen storms, dustquakes, and even solar flares before, but nothing like this. The stars burned red, swirling like blood in water. Then came the ships, thousands of them, black and silent, blocking the moonlight. Eli Grant stood in the open field, staring upward, heart pounding. Lyra was gone, taken by the enemy, and now they were here. A siren howled through the colony. The loudspeakers repeated the same metallic voice again and again. "All citizens to underground shelters. This is not a drill." Sarah ran outside, holding Maya's hand tight while Luke carried a small bag. "Eli," she screamed. "We have to go." Eli didn't move. His eyes stayed fixed on the sky. "No," he whispered. "She's up there." A huge ship descended, shaped like a crescent moon turned upside down. Its engines made no sound, only a deep vibration that shook the bones. Light swept across the desert, cold blue and sharp. Sarah pulled his arm. "We'll die out here." Eli turned slowly. His face was pale but determined. "If we hide, we're already dead." She gave herself up to protect us. I'm not letting that be for nothing. The ground trembled as one of the ships fired. A beam of white energy hit the far edge of the colony, and half the settlement vanished in dust and flame. Maya screamed. Luke froze. Eli grabbed them both, shouting, "Run to the shelter by the barn, go!" Sarah nodded, pulling the kids away, tears running down her face. Eli looked back at the sky, his fists clenched. "Hold on, Lyra. I'm coming." Inside the Kareth mothership, Lyra hung suspended in a field of energy, her body glowing weakly. Her silver eyes were dim. Around her, alien soldiers moved like shadows, tall, armored, faceless. The air hummed with mechanical whispers. A figure approached, the same hybrid soldier who had appeared at Eli's door. "Lyra of Arion," he said coldly. "You always believed love was strength. Look at your humans now, burning because of you." Lyra lifted her head weakly. "They burn because of your fear, not my love." The hybrid tilted his head. "Fear keeps order. Love breeds chaos," Lyra smiled faintly. "Then maybe chaos deserves to win." Her words echoed through the chamber, soft but unshakable. Back on Earth, Eli reached the shelter entrance. Sarah and the kids were inside, frightened. He turned back toward the horizon. The colony's defense towers fired weak plasma bursts, but the alien shields swallowed them like raindrops. He spotted Reddick, the miner, struggling to move a weapon cart. "Reddick!" Eli shouted. "We need to hit their landing pods before they spread." Reddick nodded. "We've got old ion cannons in the depot. They might still work." Together they sprinted across the burning field. The air smelled of smoke and melted metal. Overhead, more alien ships landed, and their doors unfolding like petals, releasing drones that hovered silently. Eli grabbed a plasma rifle and fired. One drone exploded in a flash of blue sparks. He shouted, "They can bleed!" The others rallied. Fear turned to fury. The colony began to fight back. For the first time, the Kareth invaders hesitated. High above, in the mothership, alarms blared. "Human resistance detected," said a cold mechanical voice. The hybrid frowned. "Primitive, but defiant." Lyra's eyes opened wider. "That's what humans do. They stand even when the stars fall." The hybrid turned to her. "And you love them for it?" Lyra smiled. "I am them now." Before he could respond, her hands began to glow again. The energy field around her flickered. "Impossible," the hybrid hissed. "You're drained." Lyra whispered, "You forgot what fuels me." Her eyes flared bright, a pure white. Energy exploded around her, shattering the restraints. The nearest guards were thrown backward like dust. Lyra collapsed, breathing hard but free. Back on the ground, the colony's power grid suddenly came to life, glowing bright gold instead of blue. Every solar tower pulsed with new energy. Reddick looked up, shouting over the roar, "What's happening?" Eli smiled through the smoke. "It's her. She's powering us!" The ion cannons charged, lightning crawling along their barrels. Eli shouted, "Fire everything!" Beams of plasma shot upward, striking the lowest enemy ships. Two exploded instantly, falling in burning arcs. The others shifted, moving higher. Inside the mothership, Lyra watched the explosions from a viewing deck. Her body trembled, weak but alive. "They're fighting for me," she whispered. "No, they're fighting for us." The hybrid staggered toward her, armor cracked. "You'll destroy yourself!" Lyra's voice was soft but steady. "If I die for love, then at least I'll die human." She pressed her palm to the floor. Energy burst from her again, this time flooding through the ship's core. On Earth, every colonist saw the sky flash white. The largest alien ship froze in midair, then split apart like glass. Cheers rose through the smoke. Reddick lifted his arms. "She did it. She's breaking them." Eli stared at the glowing debris raining down. "Lyra," Sarah stepped beside him, holding Maya close. "She's still up there, isn't she?" Eli nodded. "Yeah, but she's fading." Inside the collapsing mothership, Lyra floated amid the chaos. Sparks and fire surrounded her. Her voice was faint, carried through static. Eli, if you can hear me. Love them, protect them, that's how you win. Her light grew dimmer. Her last whisper echoed through the static. Love will outlive the stars. And then, silence. The ship fell apart, a glowing storm of fragments raining across the desert night. Eli fell to his knees, tears mixing with the dust. The war wasn't over, but something inside him had changed. He looked at the children, at the burning sky, at humanity rising from the flames. She gave us hope, he said quietly. Now it's our turn. The desert was quiet again, but not peaceful. Ash drifted through the air like falling snow. The stars above flickered weakly, hidden behind smoke and dust. Eli Grant stood in the middle of the ruins, his clothes torn, his hands shaking. Around him, what was once Colony 12 was now a sea of broken metal and silent homes. He whispered, "It's over." But deep inside he knew it wasn't. Sarah walked toward him, holding Maya in her arms. Luke followed behind, limping slightly. The children's faces were pale but alive. "Eli," Sarah said softly. "You need to rest." Eli shook his head. "No, she's still up there." Reddick, covered in dirt and burns, limped over. "You saw the explosion, Eli. Nobody survived that." "She's gone." Eli's jaw tightened. "No, I can feel her." The ground trembled again, softly like a heartbeat beneath their feet. Everyone froze. The dust in the air shimmered with light, and then they saw it. A glowing shape descending from the sky, surrounded by faint golden threads. It wasn't a ship this time, it was a cocoon. It landed in the center of the field, cracking open like crystal. Lyra stepped out. Her light was weaker now, her silver skin dulled to pale gray, but her eyes still glowed faintly. She looked around slowly, breathing heavily. Eli ran forward. "Lyra," she smiled weakly. "You didn't hide. You fought. Humans never learn fear properly." Eli caught her before she fell. Her body was light, almost weightless. "You saved us all." Lyra shook her head. "No, not yet. The warship I destroyed was only one heart of the hive. The others are still coming. I can stop them, but there's a cost." Sarah stepped closer, her voice careful. "What kind of cost?" Lyra looked up at the sky. "My power comes from my memories. Every feeling, every dream, every love I hold fuels the energy inside me. To destroy the remaining fleet, I'll need to give it all. I'll have to forget everything, even you." Eli froze. His voice broke. "You'll lose yourself?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, I will live, but I will be empty. Just light without a soul." Maya ran forward, tears in her eyes. "No, Mama Lyra, please don't forget us." Lyra knelt weakly, touching the child's face. "Little star, love isn't a memory. It's a seed. Even if I forget you, it will still grow." Eli looked into her fading eyes. "There has to be another way." Lyra smiled sadly. "There's always another way. But humans never take the easy one." That night, they gathered inside the broken farmhouse. The power grid still glowed faintly from Lyra's earlier burst. Outside, the horizon shimmered with red lights, the enemy fleet approaching again. Reddick loaded what little ammo they had left. "If she can destroy them, we have to let her." Sarah looked down. "And if she can't?" Eli said nothing. He sat beside Lyra, watching her hands glow faintly with golden energy. Her light flickered like a candle in the wind. Lyra turned to him. "I need access to the old reactor under the colony. The core is pure energy. I can merge with it. Once I connect, I'll send a pulse strong enough to erase the Dominion ships." Eli swallowed hard. "And after that?" She smiled. "Then there will only be peace. For you." He grabbed her hand. "Don't do this. We'll find another way." Lyra's gaze softened. "Eli, when humans love, they think it means to hold on. But sometimes love means to let go." He looked at her, tears filling his eyes. "You taught me how to feel again." "I can't lose you," Lyra whispered. "You're not losing me. You're keeping me where it matters most." She touched his chest and over his heart, and a faint glow appeared there, warm and alive. The next morning, the sky turned black. The Kareth fleet had arrived, massive dark shapes blotting out the sun. Lyra stood on the hill above the colony, her body glowing brighter than before. Her hair flowed like light in the wind. Eli, Sarah, the children, and the remaining colonists stood behind her, watching in silence. Maya cried softly. "Mama Lyra, Lyra turned, her voice clear and strong despite her weakness. Don't cry, little one. I am not leaving, I am becoming. She raised her hands toward the sky. The air filled with golden dust. The ground vibrated, and the old reactor deep beneath the colony roared to life. Eli shouted over the wind, Lyra! Wait, she looked back one last time. Remember this, Eli Grant. Humanity isn't the strongest race, but it's the only one that loves enough to fight the stars. Then she smiled, a smile both sad and beautiful, and released the energy. The light exploded outward, covering the sky in gold. The Kareth ships froze mid-air, their black metal melting into dust. The night became brighter than day, and then silence. When the light faded, Lyra was gone. Only a faint shimmer remained in the air, like the last breath of a star. Days later, the colony began rebuilding. The people planted gardens where ships had fallen. The air was cleaner, the sky blue again. Maya sat by the field every evening, talking to the wind. Mama Lyra, can you hear me? One night as the sun set, the golden shimmer returned for a moment, faint but real. A whisper carried through the air. Always, little star. Eli watched from the porch, smiling through tears. Sarah stood beside him, holding his hand. The war was over, but the love Lyra left behind, that would never fade. The war was over. But silence after war always feels heavier than sound. Months had passed since the golden light swept across the skies of Earth. The Kareth Dominion had vanished, their ships melted into stardust. No one ever found Lyra's body. Only a faint shimmer remained in the field behind Eli's house, glowing at night like the memory of a fallen star. The colony rebuilt slowly. New crops grew from soil that had once been blackened by fire. The people no longer feared the sky. They looked up to it with quiet pride. And in the middle of all this, Eli Grant tried to live again. He worked on the fields each morning, teaching the children how to plant, how to fix machines, how to dream. But every evening he walked alone to the spot where Lyra had vanished. The shimmer still pulsed there, faint and beautiful, like a heartbeat made of light. Sometimes he thought he could hear her voice in the wind, whispering his name. Sarah often joined him, standing quietly beside him. They didn't speak much anymore. Some silences are sacred, made of love, not loss. One evening, while the sun painted the desert gold, little Maya ran across the field, barefoot and laughing. Papa, come quick, she shouted. The light's changing. Eli hurried after her. When he reached the old shimmer, he saw something new. The glow had grown brighter, not white but golden, like sunlight underwater. He frowned. That's different, Maya smiled wide. She's waking up. Before Eli could respond, the light rippled, forming a shape. Not a full body, but a soft outline like a shadow made of stars. It moved slowly, reaching toward Maya. The girl didn't flinch. She took a step forward. Hi, Mama Lyra, she whispered. I missed you. The light pulsed brighter, as if answering. Sarah gasped, covering her mouth. Luke came running from the farmhouse, eyes wide. Is that her? Eli knelt beside the children. His heart beat faster. Lyra, is that you? The shimmer floated closer, wrapping the children in warm light. Then a voice, faint, distant, yet filled with love. I am here. Not as before, but still real. Maya smiled through tears. You came back, not back. Forward, the voice said gently. I became part of this world. The wind, the light, the life in every seed you plant. Eli's eyes filled. You remember us? Not with mind, the voice replied softly, but with heart. The love you gave me built this world anew. The shimmer began to change shape again. It split into hundreds of tiny sparks floating across the sky, forming trails of gold that spread across the horizon. Luke pointed. It's spreading. Yes, said the voice. Each spark carries a piece of me and a piece of you. The next generation of Aryan will not be born in the stars, but here, on Earth. The light slowly drifted upward, joining the evening clouds. Maya reached out, tears running down her cheeks. Will I see you again? Every dawn, the voice whispered. Every time you look at the sky and feel warmth, that's me. And then the light faded, leaving behind only a single glowing crystal resting in the grass. Eli picked it up carefully. It was small, no bigger than a pebble, but warm, pulsing softly like a living heartbeat. Years passed. Colony 12 grew into a city. Humans and visitors from other worlds began to live together. The war with the Dominion became legend, a story told to children at night. Maya grew older, bright and curious, always gazing at the stars. She became the youngest engineer to work on the Unity project, humanity's first ship built using Aryan technology. One evening, before her first mission, she returned to the field behind the farmhouse. The crystal still glowed faintly there, embedded in the soil. She knelt beside it, whispering, "Mama Lyra, we're going out there now. Into the stars you came from. We'll make sure no one ever forgets you." As she stood, the wind picked up, carrying a soft hum. A voice whispered through it, "Go, little star, and take love with you." Maya smiled, tears glimmering in her eyes. She looked up, and for a second she thought she saw a woman of light standing beside her, smiling too. Then the vision faded into the wind. That night, Eli stood on the porch, older now, but proud. He watched the Unity ship rise into the sky, a glowing arrow of light cutting through the clouds. Sarah stood beside him, holding his hand. "She'd be proud," she said softly. Eli smiled. "She is proud. She's in every beam that ship gives off." The ship vanished into the stars. The field behind them shimmered once more, faint but eternal, and in that golden glow Eli heard her voice one last time. "The stars once sent me to love a man, but it was the children who taught me what it means to be human." He smiled through the tears. "Goodbye, Lyra." The night sky burned bright above him, not in war but in peace. And far away among the stars the legacy of Lyra of Aryan continued, a story written not in fire but in love.